Good morning, grade 11 students. Welcome to the last topic of our discussion, business finance. Our last topic will be the type of investment. Okay, so um, we have here investment. If you hear the word investment, what do you see or what is your idea about the word investment? Class, investment help us earn and at the same time exercise our business and entrepreneurial skills to be keener about the different business opportunities that area available around us. So it is not enough for a person to have enough cash or assets, right? Part of being financially mature is having that careful observation, that being able to grab different opportunities. So this morning we are going to discuss about the different type of investment. But before we proceed to our discussion, we are going to know what do you need to know? What will be our learning objectives for this day? So first is that in this lesson, you will identify the types of investments, particularly bank deposits, insurance, real estate, mutual funds, and stocks and bonds. Second is that you are going to indicate in this lesson you will be able to indicate the advantages and disadvantages of each type of investment. And third is that you are going to explain the risk inherent in each type of investment. Okay, so class, the word investment. The word investment, or in the business world, investment brings forth visions of profit, right? Risk, speculation, bankruptcy, and wealth, right? So the dramatic changes in securities market, the proliferation of new investment products resulting from financial engineering, the continuous changes in the tax rules are example of additional factors that investors must consider in developing and implementing strategies. So likewise, it would be best to remember that the investment medium or vehicle must ensure that the money will be available when it is needed, and the investment money should grow because a peso's real value today is greater than a peso's value tomorrow in a world of inflation. So I think you already know this one in your applied economics. I think you already encountered in economics, right? So what do you think is investment? When we say investment, first is that investment opportunities should be grabbed only when you have extra resources available for such. So it doesn't mean that you are going to invest money even though you don't have extra resources. And take note class, investment, dili na siya diretsyo nga makuha nimo diretsyo ang imong interest sa imong invest. It will take years para mabawi nimo ang imong invest. And that is not a scam kung ingana nga investment. Okay, so it's very risky if we are going to join or we are going to invest on online investment like dagan kayo, di ba? Abot-abot karon like you invest 500, mabawi nimo siya per day in 30 pesos per day ing ana. So it's really risky. And might be ang uban mga scam pamanggani, di ba? So it says here that when we say investment, the investment opportunities should be grabbed only when you have extra resources available. Why? because lisod kaayo mo grab ka og investment and then you don't have any extra resources available for such. But it does not always mean that it should always be grabbed. If you are only operating within your means, learn to prioritize. So investment can take a back seat. So after all, these opportunities are not always once in a lifetime, right? If you missed one today, you could grab the next one soon enough. You just need to keep your eyes open. So when we say investment, we are being reminded that we should really keep our eyes open in every investment opportunities, but we are just going to grab any investment opportunities only when we have extra resources. I do have an experience with that one. I joined in a cooperative, okay? And then I don't have any extra resources with me to join to grab an investment opportunity. But I did invest, though I don't have any extra resources. And okay, so that's the first thing to do. Investment opportunities should be grabbed only when you have extra resources. Next is, second is that you are going to think that unless you are a stockholder and insurance salesman, so investment should not be your main source of income. Okay, don't think that, oh, I have to invest with this kind of investment because this will be my main source of income. Again, take note class, that investment, you should only grab investment in if you have extra resources. Daghan kaayo ang uban nga gaingon nga pwede na ko dili manarbaho because I invested with this kind of investment opportunity. And take note, we are being reminded with this discussion again that investment, we should never think that our investment will be the main source of income. No, it's not. Okay? Unless you are a stockbroker or an insurance salesman. So even investment banker. So you should not heavily rely on the income coming from your investment. One good reason for that class is that your investment generate income or cash flows that are largely independent from your main line of business. Again, dili nimo diretso mabawi ang imong gi-invest. Okay? So it should never be your main source of income. So heavy reliance on the inflows coming from these assets would create a feast or a famine condition. So this means, class, that heavily relying on the resources that these assets might generate, given that they do not produce regular cash flows, might make you very prosperous one moment and then very unfortunate the next. Why? Because when we say investment, dili na siya everyday nga ga-generate kag money, right? Mostly investments, yearly na sila ga-generate og money sa imuha or inflows, cash flow sa imuha. So, maybe that pag abot anin aw kaninga manting bahin na ni siya sa atuang dividends, then you are very prosperous, magpakaon yun ka kay dahil kwarta na. Then what will happen next month? Wala na dayon, you're very unfortunate na po dayon. Kaya nga naman, you don't have enough cash na. Because you heavily relying on the investment, which is investment should not be your main source of income. Next is that investment require additional risk taking. Yes, because we don't know if ang kana ba nga investment makabawi ba ta or dili. Okay, if you invest, make sure that you are a risk taker. So investments class are quite risky assets. So a person planning to invest must be able to learn how to take risks. So it is from this risk that the investor earns, right? So you should have an additional risk taking if you are going to invest. Now, there are three types of investments. Okay, so I'm going to show this one to you. Okay, so there are three types of investment class. We have fixed income. This one, fixed income equities. Second is the alternative to fixed income and equities. And third is the other investment and assets. So as you can see here in the screen, we have here the fixed income equities. So the investment type, what are the investment type of the fixed income and equities? When we say fixed income and equities, your daily cash inflow is fixed, okay? First is that stocks or the equity. So this type of security that signifies ownership in a corporation and represents a claim on part of a corporation's assets and earning. Okay, so that is stocks. So where can you get stocks in? If you become shareholders. So there are a lot of stocks for sale in certain companies in a certain website. I forgot what field stock, I think. They announced us there kung unsa nga company ang gabaligya og the public offering of their stocks. So what is the advantages of stocks? It's unlimited upside. Okay, and what is the disadvantage? No guarantee returns, riskiest of all assets, lose even more than 50% of their money in one day. Okay, let's just say, for example, you invested on a stock market, which is the company is not stable. So might be that, yes, the advantage is unlimited upside. Gataas perminti, unlimited na siya. But what could be the disadvantage? There is no guarantee of returns. There is no guarantee that your money will return if magkinaunsa ang stock market. Okay? And stocks is the riskiest of all the assets. Next, fixed income and equities, we have bank deposits. So fixed income, money placed into a banking institution for safekeeping. That is investment, okay? Common type of investment. This is a common type of investment with the bank deposits. The availability of funds also depends on the investment opened. And type of bank deposit. We have current account, checking account, do not earn interest. Savings account earns interest but not that significant, right? Gamay ra gyud kayo ang interest sa bangko. But the most common among individuals is the savings account. Time deposit account earn the highest interest rate. It is not always available for withdrawal. It is evidenced by a certificate of deposit, which can be both or sold by the depositor themselves. Okay, so the very common here in our types of bank deposit is we have the savings account. So if you think that save ba ako sa bangko, then you are investing already. So what is the advantage? It is known income based on outstanding principals and current interest rate. So shorter, if any, holding period versus bonds. Okay, the disadvantage is that bank has a really lower interest versus bank. Gamay ra gyud ang interest. In your 1 million, ang interest ana is just maybe pinakataas na ng 3% annually. Okay? Settlement risk if the bank closes. So that is a disadvantage. Next, we have bonds. So this is also fixed income ang bonds. That investment or an investor loan money to an entity which borrows the funds for a defined period of time at a variable or commonly fixed interest rate. So this is bond. This is a debt investment where an investor mag-loan ka money to an entity which borrows the funds for a defined period of time at a variable commonly fixed interest rate. So the advantage of this one is this is known as periodic payments for a certain period. And also, what is a good thing of bonds is that you cannot lose money if bond investment is held until maturity. So in the disadvantage of this one is that if that held until maturity and pre-terminated, investor can gain or lose depending on the prevailing interest rates at the time of pre-termination. So if interest rates are higher, investors in bonds can lose in the pre-termination. But good thing, bonds, we are not really, this is not applicable for us ordinary person. Why? Because bonds is for those really big companies, business person, which is really established already. So next is that we have alternatives to fixed income and equities. So what could be other alternative investments? We have mutual funds. So when we say mutual fund, it is an investment that is made up of a pool of funds collected from many investors for the purpose of investing in stocks, bonds, and similar assets. And this can be a short or long term. So the mutual funds is that, let's just say, for example, I wanted to buy a 10 shares of stock in the SM group of companies. But then my money is not enough. So I will be going to ask my friends if he is going to invest. Okay, if he is going, is if the person is interested in buying a 10 shares, so we could share. So that is a mutual funds. Dili lang ikaw ang tag-iya, but then daghan mo. Okay, so advantages of the mutual funds is that it gives small investors access to professionally manage diversified portfolios of equities, bonds, and other securities, which would be quite difficult, if not impossible, to create with small amount of capital. So this could be the advantage in mutual funds. Why? Because the investor is pwede na ka magpagawas og gamay ng capital. Why? Kay daghan man mo. Okay, the disadvantage of this one is that you are going to pay management fees. Why? Because dili man ikaw ang mo handle. Naman kay na may management na mo handle ana. So you're going to pay management fee. And also, one of the disadvantage of these mutual funds is that the values can also fluctuate just like the stock market. So that is the disadvantage. Second is that Unit Investment Trust Fund, or the UITF. I am not familiar with this one. This is the first time I heard this one. So when we say Unit Investment Trust Fund, this is similar to mutual fund, but is managed by banks. So this mutual funds class, remember, mutual funds is that students can invest in stock markets through mutual fund. Na mag-manage, and then you are just going to give your capital. Pero daghan mo. But then, when we say Unit Investment Trust Fund, ang bangko ang manage ani. Okay? This is similar to mutual funds. Galing lang bangko ang manage. And advantages of this one is that it is same as mutual funds. Easier to access because clients can open an account in any branch of the bank near them. And then no entry and management fees. Why? Nganong wala naman ni siya management fee ang kaning Unit Investment Trust Fund because mismo ang bangko naman ang ga-open. You are just going to access and open an account in any branch of the bank. Then the disadvantage is that no shareholder rights for investors such as dividends and voting rights. Why? Why is it? Kay bangko man ang gahawid sa inyo ha. Okay? Management fee. When we say management fee, the amount clients pay to the professionals who manage their mutual funds, normally a certain percentage of portfolio value. Then when we say dividends, this is a distribution of the company's income to its shareholders. Then voting rights, this is a right to be heard on certain policies that a company wants to implement. So voting rights, if you are a shareholder, if you are a dako kayo ang imong shares sa company, then you have a voting right. In every decision sa a company, you have the right to vote. Okay? So, I think you're familiar with this one in mga board of directors, mga ingana. So, there are shareholders meeting, mga ingana. So, you have the right to vote if you have shares. Third one is other investment assets. So when we say other investment assets, investment type first is currencies. Generally accepted form of money, including coins and paper notes, which is issued by the government and circulated within an economy. So USD, dollar, euro, yen, peso. So advantages is that largest market in the world in terms of trading volume, so much liquidity. So the very liquid asset for sa tanan is the cash, okay, the currency. So unlike stocks, commodities, etc., currency itself is a medium of exchange which people can use to transact. Then the disadvantage of this one is volatile and trades 24 hours a day, must be closely monitored, and generally uses margin trading, which allows clients to be more than their capital. So may also be an advantage of currencies nga investment type. Okay. We have commodities. Commodities, this is a basic good use in commerce that is interchangeable with other commodities of the type. So gold, nickel, oil. So this is also part of an investment. Like, nagtukod go gasolinahan dira, it's an investment, okay? If you're a treasure hunter, you invest your money in digging some gold, then that's an investment. Advantages is that it's natural hedge against inflation. And also negatively correlated with equities and bonds, may be used for diversification. Hedge against geopolitical risk, okay? So the disadvantage of this one is this is same as currencies. Okay, impractical to invest directly considering storage, transportation, and insurance costs involved. Okay, real estate, land, and any improvements on it. Okay, land house and lot, condominiums, apartments, so that is a real estate. So the advantage of this one is generally class. It appreciates over time because land gets scarce. Okay? Land gets scarce. So sa tanan nga mga butang sa kalibutan, land ra gyud ang gamahal perminti. Kung yung gama kita og yuta nga baligya nga gabarato, mahal yun na siya perminti. Why? Because as we appreciates over time, land gets scarce. When we say scarce, is gakakulangan na ang resources, gakakulang na ang mga panginahanglanon sa mga tao. So, such as land. So, gaanam og kadaghan ang tagis sa land, gaanam pod og kadaghan ang gapangita og yuta. So, gakamahal yun siya perminti ang land. So, the very best way to invest your money is buy land. Kay di ka magansi sa yuta kung mag-invest ka sa yuta. Why? Because just like what I've said, gamahal perminti ang yuta. Wala yun kakakita og yuta nga gabarato. Okay, then another advantage of this one is relatively low correlations with other asset classes, may be used for diversification. And also land, pwede rin mo na siya pasagdan. Okay, can be a source of recurring rental income. If dili mo siya gusto baligya, pwede mo siya paabangan, right? So it may also be a hedge against inflation-linked rent escalation clauses. The disadvantage of this one, and disadvantage ng aning real estate class, is that you will be needing huge capital. Financing also can be difficult. And also maintenance of the property needed to preserve its value. Let's just say, for example, unlike sa yuta, pwede ra ni mo pasagdan ang yuta. But if you invest real estate like condominiums, house, and lot, mga ingana, kailangan yun na siya maintenance. Right? Just like what we have discussed in your principles of marketing, that if you buy a phone and then nagamit na nimo siya for 1 year, but then ang yung performance is the same as new, pwede mo siya baligya mahal-mahal. Right? That's why you are really going to maintain and preserve it properly so that the value is still there. Then, lastly is the liquid or difficult to sell. Lisod lang yun siya ibaligya. Pero pag mabaligya po siya, dako yun po mong makuha. Then lastly, we have insurance. So insurance is a contract policy in which an individual or entity receive financial protection or reimbursement against losses from an insurance company. So life insurance, educational plan, that is an investment, okay? So the disadvantage of this one is you give the insured individual entity the cash capital to deal with unforeseen adverse financial consequences. It may provide certain tax benefits, tax deductibility, tax-free provisions. But the disadvantage of this one class is that insurance premiums may be costly. Okay? And wala man po siguro nag-ampong na, oy, mag-invest to sa insurance kay in kasong mamatay ko na ako, dako nga makuha. Okay? So on some of traditional insurance plans, no sickness, death until a certain age may mean not getting any benefits at all. So that's why VULs are now very prevalent. Okay? So some insurance also companies can go bankrupt. Okay, example of that is the college assurance plan. So if companies fail to factor significantly adverse unforeseen circumstances, then mag-bankrupt yun siya. So if bankrupt, dili na nimo mabawi ang imong money, ana. Bisan pa o naay mahitabo sa imuha, then insured ka, and then nag-bankrupt ang insurance company, you really have nothing to do with it. Wala gyud kay mabuhat. Okay? So that's it. That's the end of our discussion in business finance. This will be the last topic that we are going to discuss. And this will be the last topic for the coverage of your exam. So your exam will be the computation, and this one, the last topic. So this will be the coverage of your exam. And review will be uploaded on Friday, I think, or next week, Monday. Okay, so just be responsible with your activities. And those who have not yet taken their exam, I will not sign your clearance if ever you still have lacking activities for the fourth quarter. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. Goodbye and God bless.